At that exact moment, everything was hanging by a thread, and one wrong move could destroy everything forever. Atesh stood there, his eyes filled with a dangerous determination, the gun pressed against Nizar's forehead. This wasn't just anger anymore, this was something darker. Something that could change his life forever. It was daytime, but the tension in the air felt heavier than the darkest night. Atesh had finally found Nizar's hideout with Demet's help, and now he was face to face with the man who had caused so much pain. His fingers slowly tightened on the trigger. But Nizar wasn't afraid. In fact, he almost looked like he was waiting for it. He stared directly into Atesh's eyes and said nothing at first, but his silence spoke louder than words. Deep down, he believed Atesh wouldn't pull the trigger. And even if he did, Nizar was convinced he would still remain a shadow over Atesh and Merkin's love. And then everything changed. Merkin suddenly appeared. She rushed into the scene like a storm, her heart racing, her eyes filled with fear and determination. She didn't come there to watch, she came to stop everything. She stepped right in front of the gun. "I won't let you become a murderer," she said firmly. That moment shook everything. What would you do in Merkin's place? Would you risk your life to stop someone you love from making a terrible mistake? Nizar suddenly raised his voice, almost like he was trying to prove something. "Go ahead. Shoot," he shouted at Atesh. Atesh's face hardened. "This man deserves to die for everything he's done," he said through clenched teeth. But Merkin didn't back down. "You're right," she said. "I don't like Nizar either, not even a little. But this is not the solution. If you kill him, our love will break, and you'll spend your life in prison." Those words hit Atesh deeply. For a second, he hesitated. But Nizar made things worse. He looked at Merkin and said something so absurd, so delusional, that it made her blood boil. "Move out of the way," Nizar said. "Don't worry, everything will be better. I know you're protecting me because you love me." That was it. Merkin snapped. She stepped aside suddenly and said, "Go ahead, Atesh, do whatever you want." For the first time, fear appeared on Nizar's face. And Atesh? He hesitated again. Because now it wasn't just about Nizar. It was about losing Merkin. In a sudden move, Merkin grabbed the gun from Atesh's hand. "Actually," she said with burning anger, "I should be the one to kill Nizar. He kidnapped me." Her eyes were filled with rage. She was more determined than both men standing there. Atesh tried to stop her, but it was useless. Because at that moment, no one was thinking clearly. Not Atesh. Not Merkin. And definitely not Nizar. Everyone was standing on the edge of destruction. And then, out of nowhere, a white car rushed toward them at high speed. Everything happened in seconds. Atesh reacted instantly, pushing Merkin out of the way and falling with her to the ground. The car stopped abruptly. It was Nizar's man. Before anyone could react, Nizar jumped into the car and escaped. Just like that, he was gone. Atesh stood up, furious. His chance was gone. Again. Merkin, on the other hand, felt something completely different. Relief. Because no matter what happened, at least no one got hurt. But was that really a good thing? Or did they just make a mistake by letting Nizar escape? What do you think? Should they have ended it right there? Or was this the right decision? A few minutes later, Atesh and Merkin returned to the mansion. Simul was waiting for them, clearly worried. Merkin went straight to the room, still shaken. Simul, however, turned to Atesh, angry. "You handled this completely wrong," he said. Atesh stayed silent. Because deep down, he knew Simul was right. Simul continued, raising his voice. "You always try to do everything alone. And all you're doing is making things worse." Then he added firmly, "You take care of Merkin. I'll handle Nizar." That moment showed something important. Simul wasn't just a friend, he was the voice of reason. He warned Atesh that Nizar had become a dangerous, unstable man. Atesh finally responded, calmer now. I know you're worried, but I have to protect my family." And for the first time, he actually listened. But the real problem wasn't outside anymore. It was between Atesh and Merkin. When Atesh entered the room, tension filled the air immediately. "Why did you put yourself in danger?" he asked. What if something happened to you? Marin didn't stay silent. What if something happened to you? She fired back. That question hit harder than anything else. Who do you think was right in that moment? Ateş or Marin? Ateş believed he was protecting his family. Marin believed he was making a terrible mistake. She told him clearly, killing Nizar won't solve anything. It will only create bigger problems. Their argument was painful, because it wasn't about hate, it was about love. Two people trying to protect each other, but hurting each other instead. Then suddenly, the tone shifted. I would do anything for you, they both said. And they meant it. They were both ready to live, die, or even kill for each other. But sometimes, words aren't enough. Silence took over. Marin left the room. Minutes later, they met again in the kitchen. Cold. Distant. Marin was waiting for an apology. And Ateş didn't hesitate. I'm sorry, he said immediately. But was that enough? Marin didn't accept it. Not yet. Ateş tried again. This time, sincerely. He admitted he was wrong. He admitted he lost control. Still, Marin stayed cold. I know you're angry, Ateş said softly. I let Nizar manipulate me. I'm going to my office now. If you miss me, if you want to hug me, I'll be there. And then he left. Now the question is, will Marin forgive him? Or is this just the beginning of a deeper conflict? Meanwhile, in another place, Simul and Demet were having an emotional conversation. Simul asked her directly, if I hadn't heard your phone call, would you have told me where Nizar was? Demet didn't hesitate. I care about Marin, but Nizar is my brother. He's the only family I have. That answer said everything. Loyalty. Conflict. Pain. Simul then revealed something shocking. Nizar escaped again. The tension between them grew. Because now, everything was getting more dangerous. At the same time, Binaz was struggling with her own secret. The truth she knew was eating her alive. While preparing food in the kitchen, Muzian came to her, broken and emotional after visiting the graves of her husband and son. As Muzian spoke about her pain and her desire for revenge, Binaz felt like she was suffocating. Because she knew the truth. She wanted to say it. She wanted to scream, Murat is actually your son, but she couldn't. Not yet. Time passed. And then, Marin walked into Ateş's office, holding a tray of coffee. But the coffee wasn't important. It was just an excuse. She wanted to forgive him. She wanted to fix everything. But when she entered the room, Ateş wasn't there. Her heart skipped a beat. Where is he? Panic slowly filled her chest. Because deep down, she knew something wasn't right. Ateş had gone somewhere again. Somewhere dangerous. And this time, no one knew what would happen next. So tell me, what do you think is coming next? Will Ateş make another risky move? Will Marin finally forgive him? And most importantly, will Nizar come back stronger than ever? Or is something even bigger waiting in the shadows? Fire.